some reason. Maybe it's my eyes.
You still don't look any better.
It looks a little orange today.
He does.
I didn't think it's.
He does.
It's probably
the
this.
Been in the
Gambling.
Cheetos too much.
Been drinking that Tropicana, son.
It looks like he's bathing.
It has been nice here. It has been nice weather here. So,
Or he's in
What are
a
you out
Oompa
getting?
Loompa.
Are you out getting a suntan?
I've been outside getting burnt a little bit here and there.
So they just came out and said that like 95% of all sunscreen has got these bad chemicals in it that get absorbed through your skin,
Shocker.
and
never
they're
knew.
saying not to,
Alzheimer's.
not to use it. And so it's crazy because like they say, well, you can't go out in the sun because you'll get the skin cancer. But then if you put this on, you'll get the spleen cancer or something because of the chemicals in it.
You know,
My
according
dad
to the
used
state
to
of
mix his
California,
own.
The Earth causes cancer.
Well, yeah,
It probably does.
I think taking a number 2 does. Hey, my dad used to mix his own suntan lotion. It was baby oil with iodine in it.
Yeah,
I don't know
everybody
where he
did
came
that
up with
when we-
this.
I
Did
never
you know
heard
about
of
that too?
No.
Yeah,
He did. It was weird.
But the
He
thing
was, he
is
was a
that,
water ski guy too. You know,
that
they
gets
always
you
the lake.
burned. That gets
Yeah,
you
it
that.
does.
Baby oil and iodine.
Baby oil is kind of like a micro.
They skip the tan straight to the burn.
What do you
A
call it?
carrier.
Yeah, it kind
An-
of
an emollient.
makes the bright even better.
Well, the thing is like it makes perfect
Magnifying
sense
glass.
that if you take concentrated chemicals and put them in the lotion and put them on the largest organ in your body,
Right.
that it is going to absorb
Today,
them.
put the science talk already. That is.
Well, it just makes sense, right? So, do I believe that the sunscreen's bad for you? 100%. You know what I mean? Like it makes perfect sense to me.
You know, wearing caps causes hair loss. I'm just saying.
It could. It
It
could.
does.
See, look at our sample size. Already we're at 100%.
Mine's gone too. But I started wearing caps after I lost my hair to
I've been wearing caps.
protect
You're
my
telling
head.
from.
Wee laddie.
I'm just not a hat guy.
Yeah, since I was a
I
kid,
would-
I've always worn 'em. But I never
I
wore
wouldn't have-
sunglasses. So the main reason I always wear them is to keep the light out of my eyes. But
Yeah, see, I wear
That's
sunglasses.
what most
all the
people wear them
time.
for.
all right, well, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. It's much appreciated. Today we're
TC
doing.
Fitz is here. John Gendron's here. Look at
Hey,
that.
hey, Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc.
He'll be on Thursday, right? Isn't Jean-Luc on Thursday? He's going to do a little Mamana Gal for us.
Yeah, somebody's got to explain the deep technical stuff to us. That MMA stuff is difficult.
Does he have slides?
No, it should be live software modeling. So
Okay.
like one slide for the entire duration
All
of the
right,
show.
good.
That changes.
But today we are going to do a little bit of a quiz show. It's a mix of easy and semi-difficult questions. So there should be one there for everybody. Before we get started, I wanted to bring up the drama of the week. And our friend Jim bought a new radio, and he's not happy.
I'm not happy for him.
I'm
You
less
know, I'm
than-
on Team Jim here.
I thought I
Before we get started, he would have been upset over something, right? I mean,
No,
that's.
Of course. This is
Well,
Jim.
I mean, you got a track record, Jim. I mean, so tell us all about it. The despair, the maybe we need the wheel of feelings, but I'd like to walk
No,
through the
it's-
emotions as we go from excitement to
I thought this was a
confusion
known
to despair.
problem.
It's
knew
not a
about it.
known
Mentioned
problem.
I knew
years
about it
ago.
from Chuck.
Ape and I were
Yeah.
talking about it before the show, before you guys got here. And I vaguely remember with the 7300, there was a lot of butthurtsky because it didn't come with a mobile bracket. As I
Oh, no,
never
most radios
intended, as I never intended to mount my 7300 in a car, I didn't
Right,
care
right.
and forgot about it. Didn't think anything about it. And I mean, my FTM 500 came with a bracket. This is enabling Chuck, by the way. So just so you know, Chuck's kind of getting excited. The 500 came with brackets. You could mount the thing in the car. It worked perfect out of the box. So I buy this, and there's nothing wrong with the radio. I'm liking the radio. It's fine. But there is no mounting hardware at all in this radio box at all. There's a head that you can't mount to the body. There's a body you can't mount to the truck. And to mount any of it, you got to drop up to $180 more in ICOM specific weird connector parts.
Damn, son. If only the website that was selling these things had what's included in the box
They
listed.
usually don't.
don't.
Radiodity's like the only one that does.
Is that
and-
true?
And even then, they don't do it on every page.
And or they should say something. I would think. And I bought mine from MTC, and I have no bitch with MTC.
Well, MTC's great.
But you would think the text on the website would say, "Note: when you buy this radio, you're going to have a box of sadness when you get it, unless you buy these parts to do the things, because you can't."
All right.
I mean, you can throw this in a bucket and ride with it in your car as long as you can hold the head in your hand while you drive and hold the microphone at the same time, because ain't no other way to use the radio in the vehicle.
Did you open that live, or did you open it before and then find out and then go back and refilm?
No, I opened it live.
Okay, because
I
I was gonna say you're like the world's best actor, or that was like some real sadness on your face. You went.
I was
I
like,
mean,
where the
The
F is
cheapest CB radio you can buy comes with a bracket.
Yes.
Well, they're usually the
That's what's
bracket's
sad about it.
the best part of those CB radios.
Well, it's the best built part.
Tune it
yeah.
up on 2 meters. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I went and got the box because I still have the box, and I'm looking through it. And I'm like, did I miss the bracket folded around cardboard or something somewhere? You know, there's
Microphone in
no
one hand, head in the other.
Yeah.
See, Jean-Luc is got to making a good point here, where he's saying Yaesu usually has the mount brackets, not the head mount, but the radio bracket.
Right.
I
And
can
I-
buy
that's
that.
true.
Kenwood has it all.
I can kind of understand that. That makes sense.
Well, hold on a second though, but there's an
Some.
important nuance here. You can mount the head to the body of the Yaesu radio,
Yaesu.
so you
Yes.
don't need the head mounting
Right.
bracket.
Right.
That's not
Oh,
the
Jim
case
says
with this
it's not,
icon,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
That is not the case. You cannot.
That really makes it bad.
So simmer
this
down
is
there,
the,
Jean-Luc.
This
It has
is
sticking
two
with
two
Reddit
quarter
as a
20s on the
radiology
back,
myself.
though, right, Jim?
No, they're 2.5 millimeters. They're not quarter 20s.
Yeah, they're not
They're
even
not
standard.
quarter
After all
20s?
that,
Oh my
it's
God.
It's not an Acme mount or an Ajax mount or whatever the 4-point is, and it's not a quarter
Amp.
20. Like,
Amp,
like screw
amp.
you.
Well, so you can't see it
Amp,
exactly because this is 3D printed. I found this bracket online, and it's meant to mate to this with 2.5 millimeter, and I had some here cap head 2.5s, and that works fine. And I had RAM mount stuff laying around in a box.
That's
So-
really weird because the 705 comes with a quarter 20.
Well, this doesn't come.
Wouldn't that
with
make
quarter 20.
sense to change all either one
Well,
size or
the-
the other?
The
71 is
500
quarter 20.
Maybe
the 500
size
is
of
quarter
the-
20, right?
The head, right?
The
I think
world
most-
is quarter 20.
Yeah, quarter
Yes.
20 is pretty common, even in
Camera
Europe, I
mount.
think.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
camera-
your
it's a camera
standard
mount.
camera connector. Yeah. So,
My
anyway,
gosh.
I printed the bracket. This thing.
Nice
That's
ball,
kind of
Jim.
weird. That's kind of weird.
It does look a little weird, but you
It's-
can't see it on the
It's
camera.
totally round, right?
It
It's
is.
totally round. It
It
doesn't
is.
look like it in the
It's just the
camera.
lighting that makes it look like that.
It's the anamorphic, isotropic, panoramic view of the camera lens.
Right.
He paid extra for that.
But
The
yeah,
bracket
that's
looks
fine.
nice.
That's
I like the
fine.
bracket.
And I've got the mount to go on my bullet point platform in the truck, and then this arm, and I'll be fine. I was talking to Joe Brett last night, and Joe Brett is from the South, and I live here, and we're just
All
gonna
easy now.
we just decided to redneck it. He said I just threw mine under the seat. And I was like, that's not a bad plan.
Yeah, I just
We're
have
all
a
thinking it.
piece of pine under my passenger seat that I
Velcro.
screw the thing
Yeah.
on.
Well, you have a bracket. though,
Velcro
don't
to a
you?
board
I do. have a
Velcro would let it
bracket.
attach to the carpet.
Yeah, I'm
or even
I'm
the
gonna
carpet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some Velcro on it, throw it under the seat, and it can stick to the carpet, and it'll be fine.
Well, I know you
Jim's
hate
truck,
this
There's
stuff.
so much stuff under there, so it's not going anywhere whether he sticks it or not.
But the thing is what I would worry about is heat dissipation, and I know everybody gets
Possibly.
upset when I mention that stuff, but that's what I would be concerned about.
Does it have a fan on it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a fan, and you can set it to hot, low, medium, high.
I'd worry
auto.
about all that dirt underneath the seats flowing through the
Chris,
radio.
yes. I have a F-150, and on the model of truck I have, that it's a 2019. There's a trough in the dashboard, and they make a mount kit that you pull out the hardware and you mount that trough in that trough, and then there's a plate over it, a grid plate, so you can mount all sorts of crap on that grid plate to the dashboard with hardware.
I like those. I have one that goes in my
awesome.
Jeep like that, and then it has two tubes that go all the way the length of the windshield, so I can mount my RAM
Oh, yeah,
mounts
the
across
Jeeps.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jeeps make really cool. They make. I mean, my Toyota 4Runner's so old they don't make anything for it. But I've thought about
They have an
building something
abacus.
like what.
They have a place
They
to
have
put
you.
your abacus
I
in
mean,
there.
you're old enough for it.
Well, the what Apes got, I thought about building for my 4Runner and then use just
That's a
put
good-
my own board in there.
Well, I had the RAM mount stuff left over because I have
Right.
I have a portable aviation GPS, and it had a yoke mount that you clamp to the steering yoke of the aircraft, and then this went onto that, so you could set the GPS off and have it where you could see it. So I have spare ram mount crap from that.
Yeah, I'm
And-
using that on the bike.
They're the best, but the ram mounts are not cheap.
No, but I mean, this is a sunk cost. I bought this crap back in 2005, and it's been in a drawer because I ain't flown since 2011 or 12. So
All right, well, let's get started with the show. Now we covered the Jim's victim status, legitimate
well, no,
victim status.
you brought that up.
Legit.
but-
No. I wanted to get it out. They were
Okay.
talking about it in the chat.
Thank
I
you,
figured
buddy.
it was.
Thank you, buddy.
I figured it was good if we all held hands. Maybe you light a
I thought you
candle
knew
for
about
Jim.
that.
Kumbaya.
Right.
And Chuck, this really, I love Chuck. This has really enabled him though because he's been dropping turds.
No,
about-
when I went to buy a 2-meter radio, I knew ICOM because of my buddies had little portables and stuff. So I was going to buy an ICOM, and the guy goes, I bring it up to the desk, and he goes, "Do you want the mounting bracket to go with it?" I'm like, "It doesn't come with it."
Say what?
He goes, "No."
Well, of
I
course they do.
go,
What?
"How about
Should-
the
should be in
how
the
about the
box.
Yaesu? How about the Yaesu?" He goes, "It comes with it." I go, "Give me that radio then."
Yeah,
It's like
give me the
plus
better
the Yaesu was cheaper, and it came with everything. Mine had that,
And
the kit.
you got
the
your
kit to
prepaid victim
mount
card.
everything.
Right.
I got
Well, I
a real
did
quick announcement
investigate
before we
first.
get onto the topic.
Do it.
So our buddy Dave, this is UK accent Dave, which is of course the best Dave ever. No offense to all the other Daves in the chat, is doing a Toads meetup, and I'm kind of reading my notes here. It is April Fool's Tuesday morning. It's not an April Fool's joke. It's actually happening. 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Corishan State Park, Southwest Florida, which is now part of South Canada, previously U.S. It is Park CA3633, and he would love to have y'all come join him and activate the park using the Toads call sign and just hang out and talk radio shop like we did at Orlando.
So this is a British feller who's in southern Florida doing a POTA party.
Oh, that
Yes.
Dave. Yeah, we've met
Yeah.
Dave. You've met Dave. Dave was at the
AC3
place where I
AV.
bought the big honking.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I
Yes.
thought he
He's
lived
got
in
more
England.
blue
though.
shirts than Jim does.
Yeah. I noticed.
I thought he lived in England though.
Wasn't he at the POTA meetup?
Florida.
He was.
Yes, he was, Chuck. That's
Remember
down
he had
the
to come
end of
running
it.
out.
Yeah.
Used your CW key.
Yes.
Remember he had to run out to the car because we forgot something.
Yeah.
Did you remember we were pulling out of the parking lot? And he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey!"
Wait a second, mate.
I thought he was going to.
Dave, I apologize. That's a terrible British accent. It's the best I got.
He's actually not watching, so you can do it again.
Hold up,
He had
Mike.
to go to a butterfly festival this morning or something like that, which
So, Jason, yeah,
obviously
that
is
was-
more important than ham radio.
3D printing came to the rescue on this thing, Jason, because I found the RAM mount for it. Otherwise, the radio would have been boxed up. The problem is, MTC, I love them, 20% restocking fee. So it cost me $70 to send this thing back. So, no, I'm keeping it.
That's pretty bad because all the motorcycle shops, it's like you buy a helmet, it doesn't fit, send it back once for free.
Yeah, I was like, dang.
And the helmet's like,
But if you put your helmet on your greasy head, I don't know if you should be allowed to return them.
I
you
mean,
can't
do you
use it.
return
You
underwear
can
that
just
don't
try
fit?
it.
I mean,
You can't do that.
You can't do that. That's not right. You've seen some of them people in motorcycle shops. I mean, they're kind of sketchy.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get started here. See if I can
What?
figure out how to do this.
You want to get
I thought
started?
this was Saturday Morning Clubhouse for a minute.
So it's the ham radio quiz show, and I hope everybody gets them all wrong. That's my hope. All right.
Well, you always do.
We'll start off with frequency bands and allocations. So go ahead and put the answer in the chat if you're brave. And so the question number one is in the United States, what frequency range is allocated to the 2-meter amateur radio band? Is it A, 144 to 146, B, 144 to 148, C, 222 to 225, or D, 430 to 440? And look at the answers.
But the
rolling
ham
in.
can't follow directions.
Well, but he was very
Look
specific.
at that. They're
He
all
didn't
most of
want
them
you
are
to be
most of them are
confused.
right.
Technician.
Not doing too bad there.
James is also. Oh, he scrolled too fast. James is also
Oh, you changed his
144 to
answer.
148.
But now, if you use your Abri radio, you can key down on all of these frequencies.
Right.
All
You can
of
will
the
work on all.
frequencies are in the
Every one
2-meter
of them,
band.
all on
Yes.
2-meter. Yes.
At the same
Varying
time.
levels of power.
And the answer is B, 144 to 148. So if you got that one, congratulations for being smart. 2-meter band in the U.S. spans 144 to 148. It's very popular for local line of sight VHF communication.
And for
I
our
think
non,
everybody in the chat is going to be feeling really good at the end of this show by getting every one of these answers right.
I don't know. I seen some of the questions earlier.
Boom! Bands and wavelengths. Question. The 20-meter band is centered around what approximate frequency? A, 7 megahertz, B, 10 megahertz, C, 14 megahertz, or D, 21?
John's
And
asking, are these all technician questions?
no. And so, like, one of the things that does drive me a little bit crazy is, like, when you go to switch bands on your radio, you do sometimes have to do a little bit of translation there. Like, because I refer to everything in the meters, not in the frequency. Do you guys do that?
Do you? Sometimes I do. Do you have your ICOM handy? Because I swear I'm probably wrong, but I swear like some of them are in megahertz and some of them are in meters. When you hit the band button, like 3 of the choices are in one unit of measurement, and the other 6 are in the other. I'm probably wrong. Maybe I just feel that way.
I think I've seen that on some radios. I don't think I've ever noticed that.
I don't
Like
have
it'll
it handy.
say 3.5, 7, 14, and then it'll say
Oh,
15
yes,
meters,
yes.
12 meters.
Yes, the buttons on the Kenwood on the
The
TS2000 I had, the
2000.
570, the TS2000. I'm sure the 570 is the same way. The band buttons on the Kenwood are in meters. They are not in megahertz.
I think I would
Yes.
prefer that. All right, the answer is C, 14 megahertz, the 20-meter band in most regions. I had to put that there for the Canadians, even though they're in our region. It spans 14 to 14.350. Codes. Question. What does the Q signal
Jim
QTH
knows this
refer
one.
to in
Jim
amateur
and I
radio
talked about this on
communication?
Monday.
Yeah.
Is it signal strength, transmit power,
Triumph.
my location, or weather conditions?
Ain't nobody knows where you're at.
Right. I'm not sure I
He's
do.
worldwide.
He's worldwide.
And they're hammering out C's in there, so we're going to just jump ahead. C, my location. QTH is the Q signal, meaning my location or what's your location. So it can be a
It is
question.
not your home.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people will say that it's their home, oh, my QTH is my home location. But
If you're there, it is.
I guess technically, if I'm at the POTA and I'm talking to you and I say, well, back at my QTH, is that a violation of the rules?
This is going to stir up the chat. It's the exact same thing as 1020.
Oh, boy.
Oh man, here we go.
Which I've got no problem using 10 codes on ham radio. I know that that's a...
I
I
got
know
no
that
problem
that's
using
a-
Q codes or
I
call
had to
signs
make
on
myself
TV.
not do it. I had to make myself not do it. I mean, I'm sure Chuck had issues with it too. When you're in the
We
fire
didn't have 10
department.
codes.
Oh,
No,
you
we
guys
we
didn't
got rid of
use
that years about the time I got in, like 30 some years ago. We got
They taxed
Y'all
them
went to
away.
Clear text.
clear text.
All right, advanced propagation. Gray line propagation typically enhances HF signals near sunrise or sunset by A, reducing the Earth's magnetic field around the terminator. B, creating a dense
Terminator.
tropospheric duct.
Terminator.
C, causing sudden ionospheric absorption. Or D, allowing signals to refract in the day-night boundary.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Actually, pretty
That's
good.
right.
That was a better Arnold than my British guy.
Yeah.
Crikey.
The answer is D, allowing signals to refract along the day-night boundary. Gray line
what-
propagation.
What does refract mean, Mr. Ape?
It means to bend back down. Reflect gives you 180 degree. So when you see your reflection in the mirror, it's backwards. So that's why we use refract.
And refraction is when it's sideways after a few drinks.
Right?
Yeah,
A little bit of
yeah.
brown liquor.
So gray line propagation occurs during the Earth's terminator. The transition between day and night. Ionospheric layers can be favorably ionized in these twilight zones, improving HF communication paths. Eamon saying that we're copying his, people are copying his answers. Operating mode. Which mode uses rapid on-off keying of a carrier for transmitting Morse code? Is it A, FM, B, SSB, C, CW, or D, AM?
Not the way y'all do it. It ain't CW.
Oh, that does hurt.
Wow.
And it's
One and a
true.
half words per minute.
Right.
I can send the word A really fast.
I could send CQ at like 25 words
sorry.
a minute, but that's all I can send to
Ruined my own
CQ.
And folks answering C have got it right. It's the simplest form of Morse code transmission, turning the carrier wave on and off. All right. Now we're moving on to repeaters. I'm going to have to slow this train down. I don't know how many questions I have. Question.
Well,
In
I was
F-
wondering, just to slow it down, back to CW, how is CW coming with you and Jim?
I haven't touched
That
mine
was
since.
that was a huge topic a few months ago.
Mine is, I haven't touched my key since Thanksgiving.
I have to tell you, I'm
Well-
getting really good at my call sign and 5959 CQ because I've been testing all the. I've been building CW keys and I'm testing them each time.
I have slacked off just like Ape. Ape and I are both, we were probably in shop class in high school,
Right.
around back smoking cigarettes. I mean,
Right.
I want to get back into it. I need to.
You need to.
I really want. Well, I really want to learn it. It's just.
Well, if Chuck gives
gonna
me one of
chase-
his new keys, I'll be incentivized again.
Oh, look at
Well,
that.
You've already got
asking
like
for the
10,
divvy.
right?
He
Ape,
sent you the
Ape,
Already got
you
file.
want
10.
fixed income?
Yeah, I'm on a fixed income. I need
I
free.
could-
I need donations to
I
my
can
ham
s-
shack.
I could sell you a key or two. I've got a key or two.
I want bro price. I don't want to buy them.
Oh, yeah, bro price is $5 less than I paid for it.
So repeaters, the question is, in FM repeater operations on the 2-meter band in the United States, what is the typical offset? Is it A, plus minus 10 kilohertz, B, plus minus 600 kilohertz, C, plus minus 1 megahertz, or D, plus minus 5 megahertz? And it looks like most people are getting this right with answer B. The standard repeater offset on 2-meter band is about 600 kilohertz plus or minus, above 147 megahertz, often plus, below 147, often negative.
And that is a gentleman's agreement, right? Ain't no laws when you're drinking.
I don't think there's a law
claws.
around it,
Right.
but the Repeater Coordinators Association of America, and I'm not really sure that's what they're called, kind of came up with this. But on 70 centimeters, it's 5 megahertz, right?
Right.
Which they admit was a mistake. Somebody mistakenly wrote down the number. I guess somebody couldn't do the metric measurements conversions or whatever.
From megahertz to meters.
Kilohertz.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at 10 meter repeaters, aren't they like at 1 megahertz?
I don't know.
I can't remember. 6 meters, something like that. Anyway, moving on.
Do you have a question? I don't want to give this away if you already have a question for this, but do you have a question on the bandwidth used for different modes, HF versus 2 meters
good question.
versus...
I do not. I don't think I do.
Good. So then my question is, on single sideband on HF, it is 3 kilohertz wide. On 2 meters on FM, it's 12.5 kilohertz wide, right?
So, what are you talking about? SSB?
Your voice. Yeah, SSB on HF is 3 kilohertz wide.
Well, HF is 25 kilohertz.
Max?
Your channel width is 25 kilohertz. Right. So,
But you can only speak at 3 kilohertz.
no. On FM, I'm saying is
Okay.
25 kilohertz wide.
So
And
you
then
can speak
FM
25
narrow.
kilohertz on 2 meters.
Yes, and then FM narrow is 12.5. Right. So there's FM, and then there's FM narrow, which is 12.5, and then there's DMR, or digital modes, which in some cases is 6.5. So it's a mess. But with the single sideband, it would be 3 kilohertz above the center carrier, because the center carrier and the other sideband is
For upper
suppressed.
sideband, yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, we don't have the data restrictions anymore except for 2.8 kilohertz on HF, and I don't know what it is on like 2 meters or 70 centimeters or something. So it's like, I'm just thinking like it's time to put some more speed, more fire in that wireless.
Well, I like when people are running sideband like 4.5 kilohertz wide on
That's good.
single sideband, and people get all upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've got that
I have
Yaesu
a-
camera mic, and it takes about 2.5 days to send a 200 pixel image on 2 meter FM right now.
Yeah, I would imagine. You got to go back to those black and white hand drawings.
Yeah.
All right, question.
I got a friend that
Go ahead, Chuck.
I was going to say on the width. We have guys that run around 5 wide late in the evenings, but there's nobody on the band. I mean, they're like spaced out, quite a ways. But I got a buddy that he doesn't like that. He doesn't really complain too much, but he doesn't like it. But the other rule, which may be in here, is you're only supposed to use the power you need to talk to people. And he runs 1200. He runs 1200 all the time. I
don't
question.
do
I go. So it's sort of like you're only supposed to use the amount of power.
Right, so
He knew
he's doing
what
something
I was getting to. Yeah, it's like, come on, dude.
Well,
Come on,
people
man.
love to get upset. But see, the thing is, like, if you're transmitting 4K wide, I need to adjust my filter to that to get optimum fidelity. I'll still be able to hear.
That's right.
But I
The
like
Aces will
to,
do that.
when I'm listening and I'm listening to single sideband, I tighten
Just saying.
my filter up to like 2.7, 2.6, just to get a better signal to noise ratio.
I think I'm at 2.8 all the time, most of the time.
All right, antennas. What type of antenna usually consists of one driven element plus multiple directors and reflectors? Is it A, a dipole, B, a loop, C, a Yagi, or D, a vertical whip?
There's no correct answer up there, technically, to be pedantic.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
It says usually.
Have a lawyer write these for me. And the answer is the Yagi Uda. Is that what you were going to say?
That was what I was going to say. It's Yagi Uda. I'm not
So-
looking at it. I'm setting up something.
So let me ask you a question. Who freed the slaves in America?
Abraham Lincoln.
What about his vice president?
That was Seward? No.
No.
He was the, I don't know.
And it's okay not to know, right? Just like it's okay to not say Yuda when we talk about the Yagi antenna. I don't understand
man.
why all of a sudden this guy who's a helper has to get his name in there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's tons of things where not everybody gets the name in the
Right.
antenna.
LC is correct.
What did he say?
The first Johnson.
He said we're
that's
not
right.
free yet.
It's Johnson. That's right.
So the Yagi Uda antenna has parasitic elements, directors, and reflectors in addition to the driven element providing directional gain. Well, it's funny, John, because like I've had this conversation with tons of people, and they're always like, he should be mentioned in the thing. But like when we talk about military conquests or things that happen in American history, it's always one person who gets the credit. But if those things go sideways, it's always one person who gets the blame, right? So I don't see the need to add Mr. Yuda in there, and maybe I'm just uncool, but whatever.
Oh,
right,
Matt is saying that Uda was like Tesla and Yagi was like Edison. I want
Well-
to stir the pot some more.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. The wrong guy's getting credit for it. I'm just saying it should be a Yuda antenna.
Well, let's go back to the speechwriter who wrote 7 years ago, and Abraham
Which
Lincoln
was not
got credit.
Lincoln.
Right,
Probably not
but
Lincoln.
he got the credit for it.
I don't know. Lincoln was deep enough. He probably wrote his own speeches back then. I don't think he had a PR flack.
You probably couldn't shut that man up.
Probably not.
He wore that tall hat just to get attention.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know
please
about
talk
where
to
that's
me.
at.
Just
All right,
trying-
intermodulation distortion, IMD, in an HF station with a linear amplifier. High intermodulation distortion typically results from inefficient receiver sensitivity, B, excessive SWR on the transmission line, C, overdriving the amplifier beyond its linear region, or D, improper antenna polarization. So this is one of the things that I was talking about a little bit on that amp video that I did last week. So like I could get at one point I could put enough drive into that Neptune amp to get 145. I think it actually hit 152 watts out. I'm sure that I was past its linearity region and getting into compression. So the answer is C, overdriving the amplifier beyond its linear region. Let's see.
He just read this in the test, so it was perfect for his video.
Oh, I did this after I did that. But also when I was doing my LNA test, I think I talked about it. So C, overdriving the amplifier beyond its linear region. Linear amplifiers have a limited clean operating range. Pushing them too hard, excessive input drive leads to distortion and spurious outputs, IMD products. And that's why a lot of times when you go to the Hamfest, you see like these old Yaesu and Kenwood station monitors, and they have like a round screen on them for basically an oscilloscope function. And what they measure is like it should look like a sideways triangle, like a horn almost coming on that screen. Mm-hmm. When you start to see deformation at the ends across from the angle. So when I guess it's called your hypotenuse, I don't know. Over there, when you start to see rounding, that's when you've gone beyond your linearity and will start to have intermodulation artifacts in your signal.
Round up or round down?
The corners would round like this, so it stops looking so triangly. All right, propagation. What is the term for wave refraction in the ionosphere that enables long distance HF communications? Is a ground wave, and shockingly enough, some people believe that. B, space
ocean.
wave. C, tropoducting, or D, skywave propagation.
Hint: the answer has wave in it.
Right.
You- One of three, huh?
One of three.
Yep. Always got to have a ham explain a joke to you.
And let's see what the correct answer is here. D, skywave propagation. Skywave ionospheric propagation allows HF signals to bounce or refract off the ionosphere for long distances. And I'm enjoying a nice soda in my coffee and ham radios cup. So,
Soda. I got
Yeah,
If
we
somebody
need to
could tell
put a
me-
new cup up.
What
if
is
somebody could tell me about where I could get
Coffee?
stuff. We don't have any cups though, do we?
No, sir. We are bupkis on cups.
But we do have
bingo.
coffee. We do have coffee, right?
Do. We have lots
You're going solo.
of coffee. Awesome. So I've got the private reserve here. This is our Mexican Chiapas. And I really enjoy this one. It's got a nice smooth flavor. Makes me want to get on the air and make some contacts with that extra dB of gain that you get from this one here. And if you guys are a fan of the Starbucks type coffee, we've got this QRO high test, and it's a French roast, but it tastes a lot like the Starbucks style of coffee, if that is your jam. And then I gave away the contents of the morning net bag. I gave this one to Chuck. This is a breakfast blend, hence the name morning net, because I'm super creative with this kind of stuff. But Chuck,
He
tell us
wanted
how
the
this one
bag back
tastes.
though.
I
It's
did. I
really
wanted the bag
good.
back.
I have it in a plastic bag now, so I have to remember what it is. The morning net. It's actually really good. I've got the other one also, the high test stuff. I like that one too. I like the French roast usually. That's what I buy.
Oh,
He'd like to have Frenchman
both
coffee.
really. They're both really
John-
good.
John thinks we sell antennas too. Chuck, what kind of antennas do
Yeah.
you sell?
We have infed half wave. We have random wire 9-to-1s. We have dipoles that are linked. We have a vertical that is a multi-band vertical, and that we have two of those now. The Kronos, which will be back in stock soon. This week's been kind of filled up for me. It's my mom's birthday. We're doing a brunch today for her, so been getting things ready
She's
around here.
actually old enough you can tell the crowd what her age is, because there's a
She
point
is.
in time where you can't.
Yeah, she was 95 2 days ago, so and today is actually was my dad's birthday, so we're celebrating on my dad's birthday, just the way it happened out for the weekend. So for 2 days she was the same age as my dad.
That's
But
cool.
but the everything else is in stock. We still have a couple chokes, 3 or 4 chokes left, and so hurry on those because those go pretty quick every time we seem to mention them. And Ape says that we recommend 2, 1 as a minimum though, but 2. And the price on those is really good because I checked some out at the show when we decided what we were selling them for, and they were $20 more than what we're selling them for. It's basically
Yeah,
the same thing.
we should have about 20 more chokes midweek, give or take.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling anybody what to do. I put one at my antenna tuner,
Since when?
my manual tuner, and I put one at the antenna feed point. Thank you, John.
John O, appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Definitely, bro.
Subliminal advertising works.
And I
All
sent
right.
John something for him to try out this week, and he's supposed to get back to me. So
Thank you, John.
see how it works.
We're
Thanks,
messing
John.
over here. All right, let's see what else we got on this list. Dave in Temecula, thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Dave.
Appreciate it.
Southland.
All right, now how do I do this? We covered skywave propagation. So power limits. According to the FCC regulations in the U.S., what is the maximum legal power limit for most amateur HF operations? Is it A, 200 watts PEP, 500 watts PEP, 1500 watts PEP, or 3000 watts PEP? So the thing is like I had a video that I did spurious emissions tests on, and then some know-it-all came on there and told me that the FCC was getting rid of spurious emissions as part of the Doge. And I'm just like, where do you guys get your information?
Delete.
And it's just a little crazy. But the other thing is that let's just say that I'm not giving you the answer. The legal limit is 3,000 watts PEP. If you have a gain antenna that gives you 3 dB of gain, this is the bonus portion of that, how much are you ERP, your affected radiated power? Assuming no loss in your tuners, transmission lines, balance, and antenna.
Jim, check your Discord real quick.
We're not getting any answers there.
Well, it
So
takes
three-
a minute.
3 dB gain is having if it's negative 3 dB or doubling if it's positive 3 dB. So it would be 6,000. And the answer is 1,500 watts PEP. The FCC generally permits up to 1,500 watts PEP, peak envelope power, on most HF bands, with some exceptions. Now, Uncle Cal, DX Commander over in the UK, he has an experimental amateur radio license from England, and he can go pretty high. I want to say it's almost 5,000 watts is what he's allowed to transmit as part of that.
I think New Zealand can, or New Zealand, or the VK, Australia.
Can
one of
or
those can
can't?
go real high.
Yeah.
One of them go.
Can.
No, I don't think it's. I think it's New Zealand can go real high.
Well, I mean, they are kind of at the bottom of the planet, right?
James, I don't know. I didn't even know that this was a thing, that the ham tubers are giving ERP videos.
That was a while back when the ARRL made their calculator and they changed the rule where you have to have a station plan or something for your radiation limits or whatever.
No, that was the FCC, not the ARRL. Yeah, you're supposed to
ARRL
have
made the calculator is what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah. And every time you change it, you're supposed to do a new one of those and keep them on file.
Yeah.
I have them
Yeah.
filed.
I don't know why people are making those videos now, if they are.
Good for
Yeah,
them.
that was. I think that Tio's right. That's when that all happened. Was
I mostly
the
watch cat videos.
Never would have guessed.
Well, they're the best ham radio videos.
Right. Boom. Basic electronic components. Question. Which component is used to store electrical charge in a circuit? Is it A resistor, B, capacitor, C, inductor, or D, transformer?
Well, this one might be stumping them. I haven't seen an answer yet. Oh, wait a minute.
Well,
Well,
and the thing
while
is that
they're-
I suppose you could make an argument.
Slow
here.
over there.
While they're answering that, our friend in the chat, Elodie, had a question. I'm scrolling to find it, but he was
I
kind of worried about
started.
winding the toroid. Oh, good. Kind of worried about winding the toroid. And I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I mean, worst case scenario, go to Amazon and get some more magnet wire, and you've paid for $5 for a lesson in how to wind a toroid wrong, and now you know how to do it right, and you've got some more magnet wire.
Well,
thought I started.
the Apollo is a little more difficult to wind because we use a really heavy gauge magnet wire on that. The Poseidon is probably the easiest to wind.
Super easy, yeah.
There you found it.
It's not very big winds.
Yeah, I would say that is if you are a beginner antenna guy, or you suck at winding toroids, the Poseidon is the one you want to do because it's really easy and it's not
Has
a
he already bought
complicated wind.
And
Sorry,
Elodie
Elodie. My mistake.
is a YL.
So we have like 3 total out of 163 watching, and I think maybe those 3 you're the only one that showed up today. So welcome, glad to
Right?
have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for
My
being
mistake, my
Yeah.
ignorance. But so I would say
guy.
that the NFED half wave is probably the one that's not as forgiving in terms of if you wind it wrong, you can't rewind it. But the other ones, if you do wind it wrong, you probably can rewind it one more time and it'll still be fine. It might not look as pretty as the way Chuck does it, but it'll get the job done.
And check my videos. I've got a video, I think APAS videos on little tips and tricks to make it easier to wind. Like you push the stuff through. You don't take the end of it and pull it down through because you'll end up kinking it probably.
Don't kink that wire.
So you stuff it down through there with your thumb. It's kind of hard on some of them
sounds
because
like
the
a,
toroids are a little smaller. Yes.
Ape, the way you did that sounded like an Afro Man song. Don't kink that wire.
Right. Man, I'll tell you,
Saying,
I've
don't
got
drink
this-
that wine.
I've had this like sinus thing forever. Cannot get rid of it. Alrighty. Let's see what the answer is. The correct answer is B, a capacitor. A capacitor accumulates and releases electrical charge commonly used in filters and timing circuits.
Big
So
CB.
hopefully everybody
That's a
got
big.
that right.
The
Oh, I know who
CBers
typed
like
that
the
in there, Jim.
capacitors.
I know who typed that comment in there, Jim. Yeah, I probably did pronounce it wrong too.
Well, I want to get to is it Elodie or is it Elodie? Because I'm guessing it might be Elodie, which is a really cool name.
She says it's French, which is another reason why I have no idea.
Which is why I assume it's Elodie or something close to that. My French accent is crappier than my British accent, so.
Well, it's probably better than your English one, though. So let's
Hey,
see what we
I
got
still
here.
say solder. I'm okay.
Right, solder.
Operating courtesy. When a frequency on HF sounds clear, What should you do before transmitting? A, begin transmitting immediately. B, tune up on the frequency.
LED.
C, ask if the frequency is in use. Or D, key down at full power to test. Now, obviously, D is my answer on that one. Only one real way to find out if it's in use.
I mean,
Your whole 100 watts.
unless
That's
you're
right.
a QRP guy going,
Oh, he's got it. Actually, you have an amp that goes over 200.
yeah.
QRP.
Never used
Right.
it though.
I've used it.
You have?
I have. I just have not used it on camera. The
Ask if,
problem with it is it's
Or off
huge.
camera.
It's huge,
It is
and I've got to
huge.
use my battery bank to.
Yeah. That
power
admittedly
it.
was big.
Yeah, and the thing is, it needs like 50 amps to run. So the way I deliver that is with a 200 amp hour Power Queen battery. Anybody want to take a stab at this? What the right thing to do is? The thing
I
is,
like
is that
Gendron's answer.
what does Jen say? Shout out OLA in the mic at full.
Hola.
power.
Hola. Hola.
Well, here's the thing. They tell you to ask if the
audio.
frequency is in use. It's good amateur practice. This is frequency in use to avoid
Mm-hmm.
interrupting others. But don't you want to tune up first? Like before you start
On the
calling in?
frequency.
On the
Well,
frequency.
yeah. Good operator privileges before good operator privileges. So yeah, but the reason why they ask you to do this is because you might not hear the other side of the conversation. So if somebody in Texas, I'm in New Mexico, which is really close to Texas. If somebody in Texas is talking to somebody in Maine, I might be able to hear the Maine station, but the Texas station is too close and I can't hear them. So the guy in Maine will come back and go, yeah, the frequency's in use. And then he'll key down so he can finish hearing what his buddy was saying. So that's why they want you to do it.
But Hollywood makes a good one. Ask if the frequency is used before transmitting. But they'll say, well, you want to tune up on a frequency that you're not using. But if you're not using this frequency because you haven't transmitted, then you're tuning up on a frequency that's not being used.
It's kind of a chicken and egg problem.
Yeah,
It sure is.
When an HF frequency sounds clear, what you do before transmitting: go pee, get a drink,
Yep.
make sure you have your proper lighting, your audio setup, your logbook is
Right.
open, you have a pen or a pencil
You're
or a
prepared
keyboard.
to copy.
Right.
And then you've been out there for, half an hour, 30 minutes, like 30, 40 minutes
And
doing
you're
a
sweating like a
POTA.
warthog.
And all of a sudden somebody's like 1 megahertz away from you.
I think that's probably one of the most annoying things that I hear.
Or he's splattering because he's
I'm
like
doing
super
I
wide.
I do a lot of POTA hunting stuff, right? And you'll get somebody that's on, I don't know, 100. For example, and then you got somebody else at 102, and it's like, can you two not hear each other at all? Because you're just blowing him up, and he's blowing you up, and it's like two ducks mating in a garbage can, is what it sounds like.
And sometimes the other station may not hear you.
They
'cause
may
don't
not,
have a very
but
good antenna,
I swear
maybe.
some people just don't understand 3 kilohertz separation.
They sure don't. So answer C. Ask if it's in use. It's good amateur practice to
Stay off
announce.
my lawn.
That's right.
So QRP question: what does QRP operation refer to in amateur radio? High-powered AM operation. B, low power operation, 5 watts or less on HF. C, satellite operation. Or D, mobile operation.
It means you can't afford a good radio.
Well,
Oh,
We're gonna have to
I
have
think
a
that
good
there's-
QRP
It's gonna
around
argue
here
with
to
you on
define
that.
QRP.
well, I think that your first one is really defining QRP, but the other one is that you can get good QRP radios, but a lot of QRP radios ain't good, right? I think is where.
There is a low bar to having a QRP radio because AliExpress is
Right.
filled with
Well,
QRP
so there's-
radios that
Yeah. QRP used to be you built it yourself out of the spare parts you had in your junk drawer and you were really proud of it. And the fact that it put out such low power and you made a contact was awesome. And now QRP is I spent more money on a lower powered rig to get a good one. And I want to brag about it.
Well, so the answer is B, and I think that technically to answer Elodie
Go ahead.
is
Go ahead.
is 5 watts or less on HF. But a lot of people bend the rules on what that cutoff is. You know, I don't like to look at it as 5 watts. I like to look at it as 5,000 milliwatts. That way, I feel a little bit better if I'm operating at lower power like that.
It's a bigger number, yeah.
So it's got to be more. It's like the quarter pounder and
Versus the third pounder, yeah. I was
and the
gonna say
third
that.
pounder, right? But I think it's 5, but some people will tell you 10 watts. And I think that I've even heard some people go so far as to say 20 watts is QRP. And this is what they do. They say, I got a 705. I'm going with 10 watts.
Oh yeah. Always carry a battery.
But just remember, when you are operating QRP, that gives you a license to cut in line, right? To hog the frequency, to demand special treatment.
Not give out your full call sign.
Right. All right, let's keep going here. HF band plan. Which segment of the 40-meter
Whoa,
band?
we have a comment from the chat that you
Listen,
need to address.
you know this guy, right? I mean, he's almost as crouchy and crabby as Lightning Lee and Iowa Hank.
What the heck would you do if someone told you to lower your power while you were contacting them? Who are you to tell me to lower my power, LC?
That's
Seriously.
right. I would turn it up.
Better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
What do they say? FAFO?
Right.
So which segment of the 40-meter band in the U.S. is most commonly used for voice SSB
does,
communication?
Somebody throw that man some bacon.
Is it 7 to 7.075, 7.075 to 7.125, 7.175 to 7.3, or 6.999 to 7 megahertz?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, wow, that's not a very good distractor on the one of those.
I don't know.
I hope no one picks that. I'll be sad. Please don't pick the answer, the really, really wrong answer, please.
Boom! The correct answer is C, 7.175 to 7.300. In Region 2, including the U.S., phone voice operation is typically allowed from about, and when they say allowed, that means according to the gentleman's agreement and women's agreement. How about we say the people agreement? And it's not a hard and fast law that's enforceable by the FCC.
Can I play my victim card when you're done?
Listen, nothing would make me happier.
All right. So there's this thing, like you just said, gentleman's agreement. As gentlemen here, as your hosts, we don't have a special word for our gender. Like man is humanity, and then we're just men. Like we're just part of that larger group. But women have a special name. Just saying. I want a special name.
Oh, you want to be called,
Something.
right?
XYL.
I mean, obviously, unicorn is taken, so I can't be called
What
a
about
unicorn.
we could call you old man? Is that
I mean, that's
I'm
kind
not
of
quite
the
an
best
old
we're going to
man
get. I think it's more of a state of mind than an age.
Yeah. Well, I qualify for the state of mind part. Yeah.
And I was going to say there's 4 out of 4 people on the screen right now at times
Older than me.
get qualify?
for
No
OM
problem.
I guess he
status,
can't count either.
Yeah.
No,
I
4
can't
out of
count.
4.
All right.
Geezer. I like geezer too.
Geezer's good, yeah. Geezing.
Oh, I like that. Hurts. Thank you, Scott.
You know, I don't know if it's an actual question, but it should be a question, because if you get on 80 and there's a certain section of 80 that's AM, gentleman's agreement type thing, and those guys, you talk about being wide.
The AM window. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, those guys are really wide, and some of them sound good, and some of them should go back to CB.
Bill.
Just
Well,
See
a lot
you,
of
Bill.
a lot of those guys have excellent audio though. When those AM
oh
operators.
yeah, a lot of the guys that are serious, yeah. And then you get the guy that some of the guys are new at it, because I used to talk to a bunch of guys up in the Great Northwest area up there by Liberty Cave, and we were right on that verge, and they would like splatter right in on us because they were like 8 or 10 wide, pretty wide.
Well, it's within their rights.
But that should be on the
Worldwide.
test. That should be on the test so people know that.
I think it's in the studying material.
Is it?
Yeah. Or amateur satellites. Question: what is the term for an amateur
man.
radio satellite that orbits the Earth for two-way communication? Is it A, GEO, B, Oscar, C, CB Sat, or D, GPS?
That
Wow, I hate
question's
questions like this.
That question.
Wait for
Right.
Hamstick's
Wrong.
answer. Come on, Hamstick,
No,
answer quick.
no. I agree with Jim, but I disagree with Jim.
I mean, it's
what is the term
ambiguous
for
is the word I'm looking
for
for.
an amateur radio satellite? For one of them, not for all of them collectively.
Yeah.
Not for what is the term for just one of them? Oh my goodness, I hate questions like this.
Well,
an
the thing is
ambiguous
that's how
question.
questions are supposed to be written, to invoke thought, right?
To invoke pain and frustration.
Yeah, it invokes gas. That's what that invokes. I mean, if I was, is that a legit? Did you steal these questions out of the pool?
I did not steal these questions out of the
Oh, you wrote these? Okay, so we can.
You can hammer away.
It's correct.
It's not
extremely
wrong. It's just-
pedantic.
it's very ambiguous.
Well, that's
That's
what I like to do, right? All right, so
You
here we
are
go.
Mr. Ambiguity.
Stir in the
Ambiguity.
pot.
Answer B, Oscar. Orbiting satellite carrying amateur radio denotes satellites carrying amateur radio payloads.
I think Oscar is actually still in orbit and working. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't chase the
Yes,
birds.
I believe
Oscar
it
is a specific satellite. One.
Here we go. We got da da dit dit da da. Good morning from Poda Camp. Good morning.
Pody camp.
We did not number the questions, James. That was too much work. All right, emergency communication, everybody's
It is
favorite
still
topic,
Operation
MCOM. During an emergency, how many amateur operators handle messages of public service? I'm sorry, how may, not many, amateur operators handle messages of public service? A, only on specified emergency frequencies. B, with no deviation from standard power limits. C, they may use any frequency necessary. Or D, only under direct FCC supervision.
Only under duress.
I think this emergency communication's funny.
What's a hot button issue, right? Hot button topic.
Well, and most hams think they do way more. I mean, there is
I'm
places
with
and times
Chuck. I
when
know
it
where
does
you're going,
happen.
and I agree with you. That's right.
But I live in an area where we don't use ham radio usually. We did have racies at one time. But other than that, when these guys are putting out videos, like they have no idea.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well,
Just
like
saying.
I've seen where repeaters. Here we go. We got ham radio Joe and Philly Ed.
I like
How
that,
you
John.
doing? From
47
the
to go.
Ed,
46
from
to go.
the city of brotherly
Matt.
love.
where was he last time?
Races is RACES. Races. Yeah. That's just
I
the way
thought
they
you said
pronounce
Reese's. I was talking about
acronym.
Reese's.
which would be Reese's. Just,
But
for us non-Baltimoreans.
What I was saying is I see a lot of folks, not a lot of folks, I see where repeaters will go into Skywarn mode. I don't even know if that's really what it's called, though, but where it starts broadcasting emergency weather stuff. And people will actually give weather observation on the repeater. And then, like, one time on my TV, like, we had an emergency broadcast came on, and it listed the repeater frequency on the TV. I
Wow.
was surprised to see that.
Oh,
Wow.
that's cool.
That is cool. I've nothing.
Like everybody has like a way to hit repeaters, huh?
Well,
you can-
one of the
you
repeaters
should.
down here.
The
they
one
all
in
call
a
should
million
on
in his town had one, and that was a.
This is Bob. It's raining at my place.
Oh, that's for their Bowfangs, though.
Up by the old tree. The oak
yeah, so
tree.
what I did is I tuned up on that frequency. I keyed up full power. I asked if the frequency was in use. And then I asked
Had your
for
logbook and your pen and pencil.
right, I asked for a radio check.
Because nobody's going to answer your CQ on 2 meters on the repeater.
And the correct answer is C. They may use any frequency necessary in life or death emergencies or disaster relief. Operators can use whatever frequencies are needed to facilitate emergency traffic, but it's got to be bona fide.
So there's a caveat beyond being bona fide, too, that is, I don't think it's codified directly, but it's understood through color of law. Like we get sideways on this kind of stuff. But as long as there isn't any better method of communication, if you have a working cell phone in your hand and you're in a life or death emergency, use the cell phone to call 911. Don't key up a ham radio unlicensed, contact a local repeater and ask for emergency assistance. Use the best method possible.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darren. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Darren.
And then
Thanks,
over
Darren.
here, our buddy Chris, W8OX. Thank you,
we-
sir.
We set a goal. If you guys hadn't noticed it, I've posted a couple messages, but if we can get I think 45 more super chats in about the next 5 or 10 minutes. We will give away a Poseidon kit this morning to one lucky viewer here in the stream.
And for all y'all rule people, that's not pay to play. That's not pay to win. Everybody, if we get super chats, everybody is entered to win, enterable to win
We
because
just
they've
have
made
to
a
reach the
comment
goal.
in the chat.
That's right.
Well, the Thump just sent me a very suggestive Discord message. I think he meant to send it to his wife. So, Thump, you got the
Can you
wrong
share that
dude,
picture
bro.
with all of
Big
us?
animal.
No, I can't share it. Anyhow, our
Is it your
Jean-Luc,
picture?
he's saying he loves when folks from Maine
Yep.
check into a Florida hurricane net and tell you the weather in Bahaba. No,
Bahaba.
For people that don't say R, there's 3 R's in that word, in that
and
term.
none of them were
Bahaba.
pronounced right.
Right. Bahaba.
All right, let me catch back up in the chat.
Lon has a question here, and I think you've talked about this before. I don't think there's a written
There isn't.
definition, but I mean, T.O. said it.
Yeah.
Immediate threat to life would
Or
qualify
property.
as or property.
And no better means of communication available.
Yeah, and no other way to talk. Just because you
Right.
got a Baofeng and you're a licensed ham radio operator,
Thank you, Chris.
you know.
But if the poo is hitting the fan and you have to stop and ask yourself if it's an emergency, it's not.
It's
Yeah.
not, right?
yeah, the
Marvin,
tree that
thank
fell,
you.
the tree that fell on your road during the bad storm, not an emergency,
Right.
unless it fell on your
got
stupid
like a-
head.
Unless it fell on somebody.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Chris.
That came through.
W3 SWM swimmer. Thank you, Chris.
And there's more than just Chris here. We got to talk to the other ones too. Y'all keep dancing. I'll keep talking. We got a couple that came in. Marvin sent in a $3 super sticker. W8OX, the Ox. The Ox from Michigan. I don't know.
We did get that one.
Match
but that's
this and
okay.
hit that like button. No subliminal messages here from Darren. I'm just going over them because I was wanting you guys to dance more.
Oh,
I missed the
Well-
dancing. Ed likes free stuff. Dave, we're getting you again, Dave. Mr. Gendron, we're getting you again. You were the original one when the goal was set. Thank you for being a trailblazer. And Dave, thank you for attempting to be a trailblazer, but John beat you by mere milliseconds.
thank you, everyone.
Guys, appreciate it. All the super chats
you.
and all y'all.
I wonder if we could go with it. No, that doesn't do it.
Whoa.
Oh Lord, no! Please,
You got to put
That
it back on the
that
stage.
just
That was
lowered us by
perfect.
3
That's,
dB.
That's perfect.
Went down by
Oh,
3
it went
dB
up.
with that.
Went up.
No, but
Right there. Perfect.
let's go
Giesen,
back to here.
Giesen.
Stroking out. All right. Let's keep going here. Grounding and safety. This is sure to get everybody upset. Why is
man.
proper station grounding important
That's
in
not
amateur
necessary.
radio setup? Now, keep in mind, this is not grounding advice. This is just fellers talking about grounding. So you always check with your local and state regulators and licensed electricians and all that stuff. But why is proper station grounding important in amateur radio setup? A, it looks professional. And that's very
That's
important.
exactly the reason, yes.
B, it amplifies the signal.
It's the YouTuber one.
C, it improves operator safety and reduces RF noise. Or D, it ensures the antenna radiates upward only.
That's
I'm a
how you do
YouTuber,
moon bounces with D.
And I
mean,
look
that's why you have a
professional
ground.
because my system is grounded. Right?
I want my antenna to radiate completely upward.
So I got
That's
a
right.
I got a question the other day. Somebody was having a repeater that was making really crazy noises when somebody would key up and use the repeater. And at first it sounded fine, but then the repeater, I guess, would start the transmission out the other frequency. And it would go crazy. And the first thing I asked him, I said, that sounds like ground loop stuff. I said, are you grounded? And I'd never heard back, but I think that's what it was.
He's excessively grounded. Well, when you don't hear back, that's when you know you're right. When you do hear back, it's because they want to tell you you're wrong.
Right. But this guy's a bro. He's a ham bro, so I'm not going to put him on
Speaking of
blast.
ham bros, other
Other
Andy,
Andy.
420. Thank you,
Thanks,
Andy.
Andy. Awesome, Andy.
That is awesome, Andy.
We are your private dancers. We'll dance for money. Not very well, but we'll throw down for a couple bucks.
All right, we got some folks answering number C. And C is correct. Grounding protects against
correct.
lightning static buildup and helps reduce unwanted interference. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
S meter readings. Question on an S meter. an increase of 1 S unit corresponds to how many dB of increased signal strength?
Ooh.
Is it 3?
This could be
always
tricky.
forget this one.
Is it
This could be
6?
tricky.
Is it 9 or is it 10?
Oh,
Wes?
glad y'all brought the dancing back. Thank you,
Custom
Thanks, Wes.
leather. Custom leather.
I don't have to dance. I'm hidden.
Boom, 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 boom.
Wes, thank you.
And we're getting answers all over the board. We got B's, we got A's.
I'm going to say B
like
on
B.
this.
Which one are you going with?
Bravo.
Well, I'm not going to tell you which the answer is until we switch the slide.
Oh, I can't stand the anticipation.
See,
Right.
I said I like B's, but not because it's the answer.
Boom!
I like D's for that reason, but
The answer is B, 6
Double
dB.
D's.
Jim, we might not want to share a cabin together anymore.
By convention, each S unit on the S meter is approximately 6 dB of signal strength.
and approximately is correct because it just depends on your radio and
Well, there's no...
there's
so
no
it-
standard, right?
Right.
Hit
And,
that
and so the
button,
thing is that they can vary wildly. Now, an S9 should be, I believe it's negative 72 dB. It might be 73, but I think it's 72 dB. And then you should do subsequent addition and subtraction for any adjustments from there.
Bob,
Because
thank
that's-
you.
You should see T.O. down the bottom trying to dance.
Yeah.
'Cause I can see him there.
Tom, hey, good
Trying
morning,
to get
buddy.
above the
Yeah, Tom, that is
Trying to get
correct.
in
Morning,
there.
Tom. There we go. Now Jim doesn't have to dance. I'm surprised Jim didn't do that earlier.
My blood's all flowing. DXton.
Brooklyn.
Question. In amateur radio, what does DX stand for? Duplex transmission, extended display, distant contact, or double exchange?
None of the above.
Kansas Jeff has been a member for 24 months. Kansas Jeff, you are awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kansas Jeff. Thank you, sir.
24 months. Wow. And he's still here.
I'm amazed, right?
We've tried
Jim's
everything
good
in the
looks.
book, and he keeps coming like a stray
Keeps
cat.
coming
Yeah.
back.
Once you put the milk out on the porch, he won't go away.
I was just saying he's still putting up with us.
He's still putting up with us. He has a high tolerance for foolishness.
It
Yeah.
just said his milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Oh man. E.
Yeah,
Keith.
Bill is correct.
Keith, look at the numbers.
Right,
again.
Bill.
Aloysius,
Bill.
thank you, sir.
Aloysius, thank you, brother.
Thanks, Aloysius.
Dance. I get to dance. Push that button.
Oh, I don't have to now. I'm dancing behind the thing. You can't really see me.
Jim, can you turn the volume up just a tad on that?
Yeah.
Like maybe one level?
One S unit.
Yeah, we want to wake
One-
everybody
one
else
unit.
up in the house, man.
Hey, Wild Bill, while he was in here, I wanted to ask him if he ever got his Radio Berry operational.
Oh, I got one of them coming.
Did Wild Bill leave?
I've had one sitting here for a while, just never used it.
I don't have one. Don was talking about it, Grumpy Don, which haven't seen him in the chat.
He's probably at his club meeting today.
On
He got
Saturday
up on the
morning.
wrong side of the cage this morning. Yeah, usually that's a Monday night thing.
Yeah,
Who knows with that
I think
guy?
he's got one. I've never played with that. Is that like a tiny SDR kind of thing or something?
It's
He's got
an SDR that you plug into your Raspberry Pi, hence the
Okay.
Radio Berry. And
Okay.
then there's a couple of additional hats, boards, etc. you can get on there, and it just looks like it'll be a lot of fun to play with. It's one of those 1 watt transmitter things like the Hermes.
It's like, I think it's even less than that, but it's like a Hermes, it's like a light Hermes light is the,
Hermes Ultralight.
Double light.
but the I think part of the challenge is
no
a lot of
phone.
the ones that are out there are clones.
Bose.
Not that that's a problem, but they're not the
Bowberry.
original Radio Berry because it's
Bowberries.
open source kind of thing. Yeah.
Copy
I
down.
know
How
there's
can you
a
clone an open source thing?
there's a new Malahit out too. That
Yeah, Radioddity sells it.
yeah, I've seen it. They're proud of it. I don't think I'm wanting one that bad.
You can find a $15 off discount on any of my
your-
videos for
yeah.
Radioddity.
Although I do understand that the Malahit comes with a mount since it costs like almost the same price as the ICOM 2730B. Just I'm not bitter.
But it does come with a mount.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Radio Berry is a transmitter, and the Malahit is a receiver.
So they're two different. Well, the Radio Berry is a transceiver.
Correct.
Transceiver. Yeah.
To be even more
To
pedantic.
be
yes.
pedantic as hell. Yes.
Pedanticer.
DX stands for C, distant contact.
See you, John.
DX generally refers to making
See ya,
long
John.
distance, often international contacts. See you, John. Now, I don't think that Canada should count as DX to North America. That's just me.
I concur.
Well, that means that all the European countries can't DX each other because
Right.
they're all right next to each other.
I mean,
I don't care what
like
they're doing
France
over
and
there.
Belgium, it's like you can drive from France to Belgium
None of my business.
to get.
Well, it's just like it's a made up thing. You know what I mean?
Well, all right, I'm going to say this, and Elodie, I apologize for being a man pig, but guys invented this, and
So they could sound important.
we're preoccupied with length and distance. So
Right.
that's where DX came from, and it's a measuring contest, and it's kind of a
how
stupid
you
one,
pronounce it.
honestly.
Well, like in not amateur radio, in citizen band, freedom band, they consider DX out of state, right? So, like if you're in Texas and you talk to somebody in Oklahoma, they would consider that a DX.
But if you're in
would.
North Texas and talk to somebody in South Oklahoma, that's
I
on the other
guess.
side of the line, right?
Be like, hoo-wee, I just got me that deep DX, boy.
Right.
It's a marketing term, is my point. It's made up marketing term.
Right there with you.
If I make a contact from New Mexico to Texas on a vertical antenna, would that be DX? Since it's vertical and supposed to be shooting over their head. So I went around
Only-
and got them the other way.
Yes, only if you went long path.
Yeah.
Right.
Transceiver architectures. A question: in a modern HF software-defined radio (SDR), which stage is typically performed in software rather than with hardware filters? Is it the RF amplification, B, bandpass filtering at the antenna, C, demodulation and filtering at the IF baseband, or D, power amplification?
I kind of zoned out during that one.
Well, you can reread it. It was a lot.
Somebody talking.
Totally zoned out.
This is why everybody loves the Yasus. And we're getting a lot of C's in the.
I was going to say it's got to be the demod and filtering.
Well, if you look at the question, right, and so like we talked about trick questions and stuff like that, it says which stage is typically performed in the software rather than with the hardware filters.
Yes.
Right. So then you would look, what you would want to do when taking tests is you would want to look for filters in the answer to potentially give you a clue. So you know it's not amplification, right? So that removes A and D. So it would be either B or C, right? And if you look at B, it says band pass filtering at the antenna. Well, that ain't in
Exactly
software, right?
Exactly
So there
right,
you go.
Elodie.
The answer is C. Everybody around here is smart.
Well, I looked at it and I just saw the two amplification answers and I threw those out. And then it was B or C, and C made more sense.
There we go, Cam. Congratulations. I hope it works out well for you.
Choke all the things.
There we go. Transceiver architectures, we covered it. D, modulation and filtering at the IF baseband and SDR. Much of the signal processing, including filtering and demodulation, is done digitally at or near baseband after minimal analog front-end filtering and conversion. And band edges. This is one that gets people. Why should operators be mindful of exact band edges, especially when operating phone SSB on HF? A, to avoid carrier drift. B, because it's recommended to stay 10 kilohertz below the edge. C, to keep the entire signal within authorized frequency limits. Or D, because it's not allowed to transmit above 3 megahertz. These are tricky questions around the band edges. They always get people.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're getting a bunch of folks in here. Answer is C. Keep the entire signal within authorized frequency limits. Single sideband occupies several kilohertz of bandwidth around the carrier frequency, so you must stay clear of band boundaries. And we'll do one more.
Oh, those guys are set up right at the edge.
Logging contacts. Although not required by the FCC in the U.S., why is logging contacts still recommended?
Bragging rights.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
required in most other countries to prove your station is legal. C, record keeping, QSL confirmation, and awards. The important stuff. Or D, to keep track of equipment failures.
D is my reason.
I mean, I log, but I really, if you ask me why am I keeping all that data, the answer is I have no freaking idea. Because
Yeah, I think it's a waste, but that's just me.
why? I hate to say I agree with you, but I kind of agree with you.
Didn't
Right.
it used to be? Didn't you
No
have
one
to
cares.
prove context?
It's not like I'm going to do a
used to
YouTube
be,
video and roll through my QRZ log and share that with everybody because no one cares.
Well,
Hell, I
most people
barely
today
care.
have multiple logbooks, right? Because they're logging in 6 different apps, and
Right.
I know that you can consolidate them and all that. And I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm not hating on it. Have fun and enjoy it. But like, do you write down everybody you talk to on a daily basis?
I'm making a note of this right now in your permanent record.
right.
In your permanent record, son.
The answer is C for record keeping, QSL confirmation, and awards. Logging is very helpful for confirming QSO contacts or awards and for reference if any interference questions arise.
Okay.
Well, see, the thing is, I think that interference is a bigger problem now than it ever was, but it's not because of ham radio. It's because of all the Chinese crap that everybody's buying and putting in their houses, right? So, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not talking about radios. He's talking about light bulbs and toaster ovens and things like that.
LED lights.
Right.
My daughter has LED lights in her room here, and when she turns them on, I can taste color. I mean, they're thrown out.
Thank you, Jan.
I was worried. Our street lights went to LED, but I've never really noticed any
Would that
You
be
got some
Yan?
good ones.
noise
Since
from
we're talking
them.
about pronouncing foreign names.
Jan probably.
Yawn.
Yan.
I don't know.
I'm guessing is that Germany? I believe that's
German.
Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah, that
German
looks-
flag at the end gives it away.
Well, I wasn't 100% sure that was the German flag. I thought it was.
But what other flag would it be, son?
Or the DG in the call sign.
I don't know any of the other
De Guerre.
158 countries on the planet. I
No,
can
that's
rule out
Deutsch.
us
More
in
than
Canada.
158.
I can rule out less
Keep
than that. I
digging that
can
hole.
rule out the Maple Leaf people.
Right,
And I
you
can
know it's
rule
not
us
the-
out.
It's not the rising sun flag, so you know it's not Japan.
See, can rule that one out.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a hammer or sickle on it, so it's not Russia or Cuba.
Uh-oh, John's saying Belgian. It could be Belgian.
Could be.
Belgian's got blue in the flag, though, right? Because, like, if you think about the
Mr.
waffles.
Fancy, I don't know that. That's cool that you know that. I didn't know that.
He's a world traveler, though. That's why.
Who?
He is. You.
Well, I've been around a little bit.
I ain't never been nowhere.
That's what we've heard.
I thought you were in the Azores. Didn't you go to
I was in the Azores. I've been to Korea.
Korea? How was the food in Korea?
Thump just got here. Thump
like-
apparently missed the announcement of the photo that you
Yeah.
received.
I like bulgogi.
That photo of you naked that you sent to
No,
Abe,
it
I think
wasn't a
think it was-
photo.
Oh, it wasn't.
It was sweet words. He must have deleted it because I just went in there and take a look now and it's not there.
I mean, y'all gonna get on
But it was a
some.
photo.
Y'all gonna get on chat roulette later. Have a moment.
Yeah, I would have kept it with that.
Right, just blindly chat somebody.
It really was a photo, guys.
Oh, it might have been
liked-
one with it.
I liked Korea. I liked bulgogi. I'm not a kimchi fan, and Koreans eat more garlic than Italians, and I'm not a huge garlic fan at all. So Jesus.
Well, they have a lot of different styles of kimchi. You know what I mean?
Kimchi.
Yeah.
Spicy, extra
Riley.
spicy, extra spicy.
Yeah, and some of it I like, some
in
of
the
it,
cow
some
farm
of it.
in the dirt for 3 weeks, and yeah,
Not spicy enough.
Here we go. He's coming clean. He was tired and had the wrong window.
Yeah, that's your excuse. Uh-huh.
I didn't know if he was just feeling extra friendly or frisky today or what when he sent it to me. But
He was
Hey,
tired.
Hey,
It's
what
early
was
in the
his
morning now.
excuses the last times he did it?
right, it wasn't him. His account was hacked.
The Shaggy
His account was
defense.
hacked.
the Shaggy defense. Yeah.
right. Chavez is saying he loves kimchi. I like kimchi in my ramen.
Yes,
Thank
that's
you,
what I
Rob.
thought too.
I don't know if I've had kimchi.
My memories of Korea were that I liked bulgogi very much, and I like Korean barbecue very much. Also, that soju doesn't really hit you like alcohol when you taste it until you can't stand up anymore.
That's the stuff that's made out of like tapioca or something, right? Like
I don't know what it's made out of.
Cool.
Satan's danger water. I don't know what it is.
I don't
But
like it.
It doesn't have the strong alcohol burn like say vodka does. And it's a clear alcohol, and they served it at the restaurant we were at, which was in downtown Seoul. They served it in like little cardboard milk containers. And
He
that's
needs some milk. When
that's a lot of soju.
when I was younger, I have a friend who is Korean, and his father ran a large Korean church, and they would have soju all the time, like at his house. So he used to sneak it out. We would drink it, and I didn't like it.
Drank too much, got sick on it.
Well,
That's how
I mean,
am with
I don't mind
tequila.
that. I don't mind that part, but I just didn't like the flavor or any of it. I just didn't like it. It wasn't my thing. But I think this is wrapping up the show. We've reached the end of another exciting episode of Coffee and Ham Radios. We laughed, we cried, we shared stories.
Live, laugh, love.
I cried.
Right. So thank you,
I need a new
everybody.
tattoo after this show.
Right, we can get matching
A tear.
tattoos.
You need a tear.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to hit the button. And thanks again, everybody. Much appreciated.
Thanks, everybody.